Good morning. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Sunday School Review. This week's lesson is the world's belief, call for the world's belief. And this is taken from John, the 17th chapter, verses 14 through 24. And this lesson here is a prayer of Jesus. Now, this happens the night before he went to the cross. And it's a prayer for protection and also a prayer for sanctification. Now, let's go into verse 14. And it's entitled Keep from Evil. That is a prayer for protection from the evil or the world. Okay, and it reads, I have given them thy word, and the world hate them because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Now, this specifically is referring to his disciples, and by extension is also referring to us. Okay, so what Jesus is saying here is that once you have accepted Christ, you're no longer of the world. That is why they hate you. And he said, if they hate you, they hate me also, because now you are a part of me. That is, Christ is saying, you are a part of me. If they hate you, they hated me first, because you are not of the world, and neither am I of the world. And that is why the world or the world system hate you. Now, let's go to verse 15. I pray not thou shouldest take them out of the world, but thou shouldest keep them from the evil. Now, so here's what is going on. It says, don't take them out of the world, okay? Because if you are isolated, or if you taken out of the world, how can you help others to be saved? So what is happening here is that it's just like before we come to Christ, we are in a bad situation. We're in a bad way. So we come to Christ, he cleans us up, and then he puts us back into the world where we can help others to become saved, to be like we are. Now, he don't isolate us. We're not isolated. Now, in Jesus' day, the Pharisees, they isolated themselves from the people. Now, and they gave Jesus a hard time because he ate with the people. He said, how is this man eating with publicans and sinners? So the Pharisees, they see someone coming and they close up their coat and put their head down. They did not want to be associated with them. They isolated themselves from the people. So Christ cleans us up and puts us back into the world so we can impact others. It's just like the scripture said, we are the salt of the earth. Now, if you know before they had refrigeration and different preservatives, they would put salt on the meat. Salt was a preserver of the meat. Now, you had to put the salt on the meat. Just putting a box of salt beside the meat, that didn't help. You had to put the salt on the meat in order for it to be effective. So this is the idea here, is he takes us out of the world, cleans us up, and puts us back into the world so we can be effective in winning souls. However, we don't think like the world, we don't act like the world, nor do we talk like the world. We make a difference. If we're not different, well, why should I be converted? You're the same as I am. So we are put here to make a difference. So individuals will see that there is a difference. And we're going to get to the second part of the prayer. The first part of the prayer is protection. Protect them from the world. The second part of this prayer is sanctification. And that's what we're going to get to a little bit later. I think it's verse 17. Now let's read 16. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Now, verse 16 is just a repeat of verse 14. Okay, it's just restatement of verse 14. Verse 16 is. Now we get into verse 17, which is about sanctification. And let's read that. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. Now, so when he's talking about the world, just back to 14 and 16, the world is the world system. The world system is an evil system. We are not, when we come to Christ, we are not a citizen of the world. Now, you might say we may be a resident. Now, you can be a resident of California, and you can also be have a home or property in Michigan. But as it relates to the state, your domicile is one state or the other. You either domiciled in Michigan or you either domicile in California. Now you can have a residence in both states. So even though we reside in this world, our citizenship is in heaven. This is not, we're not citizens of this world. We are merely residents. Our citizenship or our domicile is heaven once we accept Christ. So, so we are not citizens of this world, as verse 16 and 14 said. We are not of the world. So we're not citizens of this world. And verse 17, which I said I already read it, is talking about sanctification. So sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. Now, this is the why of sanctification. Now, sanctification, sometimes we refer to as holiness, or sanctification means to be set aside for a purpose. It's just like people have certain chinaware or certain dishes that they only bring out for special occasions. It's not the plates that they eat on every day. There are certain dishes or china that you have set aside for special occasions. So sanctification is to be set aside for a special purpose, for a purpose. And just to be sure, the purpose is to serve God. Okay, that's the purpose, to serve God. And it's just like when we're in service to God, we want to be sanctified or set aside. It's just like a doctor before he performs a surgery. I think they call it scrubbing in or scrubbing up. They scrub up before they go into surgery. So this is the thing, the sanctification. This is part 2 of the prayer, and it's the how. How are we sanctified? It says here, through thy truth, thy word is truth. So you're sanctified by the word of God or truth. That's how we are. That's how we are sanctified. And verse 19 is going to go into the why. Part of verse 18, 19 is going to tell you the why. We know the how. The how is through the word of God. Now we get to the why. And for thy sake, I sanctify myself, that they might be sanctified through thy truth. Now, the purpose we want to be sanctified is to have an impact on the world. So just as Christ came to have an impact on the world, he said, I want you to do the same. Just as he came to impact the world. So I want you to have the same effect, the same impact on the world that I had. And this is what he is telling us. Now in verse 19, it's really talking about the work of the cross. He's getting ready to do the work of the cross. Now, the work of the cross is when he went and died on the cross for our sin, making salvation possible. Now, that work has been done. That work has already been done. But the work still goes on. In other words, the salvation, the bringing people to Christ, is still going on. Now, the work of the cross has been accomplished. Now, the work of continually bringing people to Christ is still going on. And this is what he is telling them. I want you to be prepared for that work. That's why I'm cleaning you up. I'm putting you back into the world where you can impact, where you can have some impact on the world and bring others to me. And let's, the last outline here is verses 20 to 24. Yeah, 20 to 24. And it's talking about unified as one. Now, in verse 20, it says, neither pray I for thee alone. Now, thee alone, he's specifically talking about the disciples that are there. He said, I'm not only praying for you 12, but by extension, I'm praying for others. He's praying for you and I, not just the 12 here, but for them which shall believe on me through thy word. That is disciples that's going to come after. And 21, that they all may be one, as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, and they also may be one in us. But that the world may believe that thou hast sent me, and the glory which thou gavest me, I have given thee, that they may be one, even as we are one. I in them, thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. Verse 24, which is our last verse. Father, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory, which thou hast given me, for thou lovest me before the foundation of the world. Now, this here, where he's making a strong case for unity. Now, when we talking about that, he's saying be unified, and this is a done deal. This is a done deal. It's not saying, well, you're not gonna find two people that think identical, just alike. But this unity, when we agree, that is much that can be accomplished when we have unity. Not necessarily all thinking alike, but when there is unity in purpose. It's just like we have an overall mission. And if there's unity in that, and I'll just give you this one example, and the Tower of they call it Babel. And God himself said they would do it. Now, I don't know how they would do it, build a tower all the way up to heaven, but he said they would do it because they were in unity. So that is, I guess, probably the strongest case that you can make for unity. So there is a strong case that he is calling for unity, and that unity is unity in purpose, whereas much work can be accomplished where there is unity. We'd like to thank you for watching today. Join in next week for another edition of the Sunday School Review.